$1,000 for them to pull it, and then they gotta bring it into Billings to a shop, cut the 2 feet out, rethread it, and, cause they don't deal with stainless, I guess, otherwise they can't do it on site. It's just a heads up, but that's gonna start eating up that pump, you know, so I've got it on the other well running now until we can figure out what we wanna do with it. It's well number 1, and then we're running right now off well number 2. But he just said he told them years and years ago when they ever put that in for the first time, it's too long. And nothing was ever done with it. So. What's that?
What's the diameter of the pipe?
Yeah,
Is that what it's for?
So, are we gonna need some kind of approval to get this done? It'd be about $1,000 extra. Something we need to get the pump up and going. I would say we go ahead and get it done.
I'd say, because if we lose one and the other one's not up.
If it goes down, then we're in trouble.
So it's
Think we
stainless
got-
all the way.
We got funds for that?
That's what he told me, yeah.
Okay.
The whole line stainless all the way up and down.
I would say we probably do, but I'm not for sure because like I said,
So is the will.
if you take a look at your,
You know that you
it'll
got
tell you there's a lot of asterisks on some of those things. And that means that it's over budget.
And the pump.
But as I was told by local government services, that don't worry about anything this year, because it's such a mess and wait as far as, but as far as, I mean, our checking account says yes. But as for,
Is that something we should table until we find out about funding?
when Shirley comes back in, I'll make a note and make sure I let her know and see if.
Well, the
if she-
problem that I have with
approve,
it,
or approve with
I think
the
we need to,
stipulation.
Does this,
Have them
We
get
need
you
to
a
do
bid.
something.
Have them get you a bid.
well, number 1 will work, right?
well, they gotta.
Yeah, it'll work.
It'll work. It just, over time, it'll
It'll do the same
damage
thing.
it.
Yeah,
Is it one of those could be tomorrow, could be next year type of things?
as far as I know,
So
yeah.
it'll work for a backup now. For a
But if
month.
it goes out, how long do we have for water?
Well, you've been using it.
It's not like that we haven't been using the pump on in well number 1 until that happened. So when it sucks up enough sand, it's not going to work.
Okay, I move to table this till next month.
And I'll have Shirley
I'll
know.
second.
So we have
A
the
bid for it.
first motion, a second to
Okay.
table that on the pump until next month.
Yeah. So we should get the money, then it won't take them long to fix it much trouble.
No, sounds like possibly a 1-day turnaround, 2-day.
Okay.
Or,
But they're using the pump now.
no,
Just got it on the other one.
yeah. This is well number 1 that needs addressed. Well number 2 has been running since well number 1 has been repaired. But well number 1 will work.
We could use if we had.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
We need to vote on that, we have a motion.
We have a
All in
motion
favor?
to table.
Yeah.
And then
Aye.
motion to approve.
Aye.
Other than that,
That's it.
questions or comments?
All right. Good job. Looks like you're getting some sun.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Employee reports.
You have the claim approval list, the claims by vendor report, expenditures versus actual, and revenue versus actuals in the cash report. As far as the cash report, you've got it, but it's probably not correct until we get more of the balance more in depth. Kirsten said that Whitley will be down at some time in the next week or so to help her go through some of the vouchers and things like that. It is on I believe that's on old business. I have it on the audit, the old business is audit contract. When you approved the contract with Whitley, the contract stated that it was an AFR, and it was a misunderstanding between what they felt we needed. They always get contracts stating that they need an audit when they really need an AFR. So that's what they went with when it wasn't. We needed a full-blown audit. So they rewrote the contract, and you have that in your box, in your pamphlets. The bid is less than the other two contracts for a full audit. Quite a bit substantially more than the 3,000 that you okayed. But as far as transparency, we felt that you guys need to take a look at that. And it's a little late in the season to find a new contract auditor because of the season, and everybody's really busy. So I'm just letting you guys know that's.
Do we have to approve that again?
Yeah, you should.
You probably should. It's just because we have, Shirley keeps saying we
The
have
numbers
money
have
for the
changed.
audit, so.
So instead of the 3,000, what is
No,
it?
they're not rebuilt.
15.
What they've done is drawn up a new contract that says this is for audit services, full audit services, not for an AFR.
But Kirsten talked to them and found out that that was for an AFR, and Shirley sent them everything stating it was supposed to be for an audit, and so.
Okay.
But for transparency's.
So we'll need to vote on that tonight?
Yeah, you should.
Yep, so we can get,
So what page is the total on?
Here's page 81.
I wanna say it's around 15,000.
Almost to the back. This says standard audit contract. And you're right, it says 15.
Right.
So time limit on that?
Well, our audit is supposed to be done by the end of June. Don't think that's gonna happen, just because of our balancing and not being able to balance. That's why they're willing to come in and work with us.
And we're still getting a waiver from the government on finance?
It's gonna be late no matter what now on the other AFRs that are due and have been due. We have a waiver from the local government services for no fines because they know we're working on it.
Okay.
And that it's just, I don't know, as soon as we accept the contract, if that would be the case, then when we talk to Wickley, they will, if there's anything, they would be responsible to, probably to notify who needs to be notified about extensions, if there is one at all.
Make a motion to approve the new cost of the audit, full audit,
Do we have a second?
$15,000.
We have a second?
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second to approve the new audit for $15,000. All those in favor?
Uh,
Any opposed?
Jan, don't assume that they will notify or obtain extensions. You need to.
Okay,
be
and,
proactive with
and,
that.
I asked Kristen about that, and she said that she didn't believe there was any extensions that you could file for an audit. So I will call local government services and see what I need to do if that's what I need to do.
It's probably gonna be the state, not local government,
So,
that you need the extension.
well, at least I know the local governments will be able to direct me and you in.
Okay.
How's the collection of the June water bills going?
Well, the June bills are doing okay. We got quite a bit of them in. Delinquent bills, we've got some of them, paid up in full, some, payments, and it varies depending on the person. So some people have paid it in full, some people have paid more, some have paid just a little, but they're still delinquent. So what I've been doing is the people who have paid and have come talk to me, or have called me, or made certain arrangements, I will stamp the bills again delinquent and not turn off their water until they completely not talk to me and pay.
So have we made any moves to terminate anybody's?
We
water?
did, last month we turned off somebody's water, and of course there was something on another website saying, let's get together and do something with the city because they turned off the water. They have never gotten a hold of me, not the tenant or the landlord.
And we're confident that we have the correct correspondence addresses and phone numbers.
Yes. And then most people have paid. There's a few that haven't paid, and they've already gotten a notice for regarding a tax lien against their property, and the next step is to file that with the county. And we have 4 of them so far that have not made an effort in any way or form to rectify the situation, so they will be getting a tax
Doing
lien.
that according to oil.
And other than that, everybody's been really good. Everybody's been on top of getting their bills.
We're making
paid.
headway.
Some days.
2 steps forward, 1 step back.
I thought about saying, I should have asked the last meeting to postpone this meeting until next week, just because of because I was gone a week, holiday, and then all the graduations and stuff that were happening that just sort of put me in a bind. But
Jan and I have been talking about this, if I may, and this will probably come up in the ordinance committee, as far as waiting 3 months for them to come up with the delinquency amount before shutting them off. Really, and then extending it by a side agreement. You got to get procedure in place that you enforce regularly against anything. You got to run the town as a business, and I'm sorry, but until you start running it as a business and don't get into these, okay, pay when you can, okay? You're gonna get people that are upset because you're not enforcing,
Everybody the same.
Yes, exactly. And
yeah.
it also protects the user. You let them go and go and go and don't shut them off, then they think they can go and go and go. If you shut them off, then they're not incurring that additional expense. They're not adding to the delinquency, see what I mean? So if you give them notice, they have, and I'm gonna bring this up in the committee, of course, give them less than 3 months before you totally shut them off.
Because you have to give them another 30 days after that for the tax lien.
Well, that's gonna be a separate issue entirely.
But I mean, it's still, you give them a notice to turn off their water, and you still give them extra days to have that water, have the ability to come and pay that amount, and then
you
you shut them off if they don't come in.
Exactly.
But yes, 3 months is a lot. You figure 129 times 3 is almost $400. That's not including any usage. And then you wait another month for them
Because
to
as
pay.
soon as Jan accepts money towards a delinquency, you can't enforce anything in court as far as shut-offs.
And I'm going to be writing a letter the 1st of August, because these few that go towards for the tax lien, after that, there will be a letter stating that we will, to everybody, that we will start enforcing the ordinances as written right now, that at 3 months, if there is no payment, you will be turned off within, it says 24-hour notice on the door knockers. So, you give them a week, you put it out a week before they, so.
So when you shut them off, do you charge them the $50 and then charge them another $50 when you turn it back on?
We turn it off, no, because we've turned it off, but $50 to turn it back on.
Okay.
And it has to be paid in full before, according to the ordinances, it has to be paid in full before, you, plus the $50 before you get the water turned on.
But notice, so everybody knows what's going on.
Yeah.
So we're gonna try to get something done with the ordinances?
We
to-
can, we'll work on that. I think I've already drawn it up, I just wrote this down.
What else you got, Jan?
I'm just thinking, I don't know. Other than that, I
You went
think
to
that
training, didn't you?
I did go to training, and we learned a lot, trying to apply some of the stuff I learned, and still above water, but just trying to figure out my job and get it done right and fairly, and in the interest of the town. That's my job, to make sure that it runs smoothly and everybody is treated exactly the same. I don't care if you're my great grandmother or whoever, or if you were living in the town, you would be treated just exactly the same as anybody else. So this isn't like I said, it is a business, and we will eventually get there to be ran like a business. And I'm hoping that people will see that we're trying to be transparent, that we're not trying to hide stuff, that we are trying, all of us are trying to do the best for the town, and hopefully it'll get a little bit better.
Well, I think you're doing a good job.
One more thing, I talked to Hope already about this. I had a person call me regarding the penalty interest on our water bills. And we have no,
There is state statute allows for it.
okay, all right. So I just need to find that state and send it to her, then saying that what we are
Well,
doing.
you know, state statute allows for it. Perhaps we can, again, when we're visiting in the ordinance committee, put a little more teeth into that as far as late penalty fees. There is mention of it in the local ordinances as well. I'll get you that information.
Okay, good. I saw one for the meter, for the new meters, but I didn't see anything for late fees on the water bills. So I just want to get her the paperwork she asked for, and why, and our reasons are, so that she's not so angry and upset.
Done?
Then,
Thanks, Jim.
Yes, thank you. We have any new business?
Can I explain the interlocal agreement for planner services?
Yes, please.
This came up because of the Fender property where they want to put in the multiple trailers on the different lots. And I referred them to, or we referred them, the town referred them to the planner, the county planner, to go through the subdivision review. And the county planner called me up and said, you know, does the town have an interlocal agreement with the county to provide planner services to the town? And I said, all along, the towns that I represent across the valley, they don't have a formal interlocal agreement in place for those services. But it was my understanding, because the town has a representative that goes to the planning board and it sits on the planning board, that gives them the town the opportunity then to access those planning services. Well, they want some sort of interlocal agreement in place that says anytime the town utilizes the planner's services, which the county pays for, and you pay for as county taxpayers, that the planner will agree to do it. As long as the town keeps a member on the board, a member that appointed to the board, and as long as there's an interlocal in place, and they said something about paying for the planner's services for that as they grow. And the statute, as far as having a member on the board and utilizing the county's planning services, allows you to pass that on to the person, the developer, wanting to do the subdivision. And so I think that there can be something written and in place to do that. Otherwise, you need to hire a planner and actually a sanitarian, because that's also involved in the planning of a subdivision. And there's a countywide sanitarian who also works as part of the review process for minor and major subdivisions. And that would be all part and parcel of this interlocal. But what we're talking as far as money, it would be any, in the 9-10 years I've been the attorney, this is the first time it's come up for a subdivision within the town limits. That there's been a need for them to go through the subdivision review. So you're talking maybe once every 5-10 years, but you gotta be honest, it's gonna grow sometime. And I think you need to be proactive about that with annexations, okay? I think that, again, with the ordinance committee, this can be built into the zoning and annexation portions of the ordinances, that as part of any annexation, they have to agree to go through the subdivision process that's required. So developers who want annexation to put in a development within the town and want to be annexed to the town to get the services of the town have to go through the county subdivision.
Makes sense.
Okay? So that you're not annexing without something in place already for the review process.
And Julie Jones is our representative for the planning board.
So I think we can draft something, but I want the go-ahead from the
I think
council
it's a good
to
idea.
get an interlocal in place so that once every 9 years when something like this comes up, you'll be
We're
ready
not stumbling.
with the services. So we don't have to go back to Mr. Fandler and say, well, we don't have anything in place. The county's not willing to do it because we don't have anything in place with the county to do it. See what I mean? So I think it's a reasonable request, and then we'll,
So we
somebody
need to
from
make
the,
that in the form of a motion, don't we?
yes, to go forward with the interlocal agreement.
So we could get a motion, to go ahead with the interlocal agreement.
I'd make a motion to pursue getting the interlocal agreement in place for the town of Fromber.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
With that, I'll probably come back to you and say, we're gonna need somebody from the town to go and negotiate with the county over how much they're gonna actually be requesting, if it's above and beyond the subdivision fee for the planner to do it. Okay? If it is, and that subdivision fee is paid by the developer, not by the town.
Right.
Okay?
So anything out of our coffers would be reimbursed through the developer.
Hopefully, they're not gonna ask for anything more than that.
Yeah,
Okay.
Okay,
makes sense.
good, well, thank you. Old business?
So have we made any move to get that restaurant and residents out there on their own water meter? Well, we have to have a meter for both the house and the restaurant.
Sue came in today and asked if she had to have all her written letter that we requested on the priorities, and she said she didn't have it. She said, do I have to have it tonight? And I says, we can wait for next month. And she said that would be fine. She has a buyer, so it needs to be.
They're not under contract though, are they?
She's got 30 days to vacate the property.
So they are under contract.
That's what she told me today, for the house. So, but she said she's willing, because she knows it's gonna take time, she's willing to let us,
Did you get all the Sam, Carolyn? And find where that water splits?
He just, Yeah, I talked to him over the weekend and it's so confusing over there, but yeah, it runs underneath that addition. Some of the sewer does, or that, where the gym, that sewer comes under there, but he said last was in there was, she had a guy in, I won't name him, but, and they redid everything that Sam did, so he doesn't know if anything's the same. But he said everything just runs down that easement off the highway and comes in to meet up with the town.
So do
But-
we know what we have to do as far as sewer to allow her to sell
That's-
those individually?
You don't have to do anything.
Cause that's her responsibility.
Yes.
The sewer is fine.
It
We
is.
don't have a meter on the sewer,
No,
Sewer
I know, but
so
We're
it
good
just
there.
runs into
Sewer's
the same
broken.
line.
Sewer's her responsibility.
Yeah.
It's on her property.
Well,
Okay.
But the water, we need to get a meter on for the house.
at some point, her responsibility meets our responsibility. And it's been coming in 1 2-inch drain. Are you guys telling me that we can split that off, they can split that off and we can use what's in place and they're not gonna have an issue?
The ordinances are this, okay? For sewer, it's their responsibility to hook up to public sewer if it's within, I believe, 200 feet of the public sewer. And it's their finances that have to finance it, whether they're in the town, and they're in the town, okay? So it's from their building sewer to the city sewer, it's their responsibility, putting it in correctly.
Okay?
As far as the water, I don't know where that line is.
Or where it splits. They have to have a meter where it splits going to the house. But you can't put it before the bar and say, well, we guess.
Last I went to Mike Beekler because he at one time put the water in across his property. There was no formal easement. There's nothing there. But it's on his property, it's not on the highway property or on highway easement. It was across his property to the bar. I don't know what happened between the bar and the house. I don't know what happened as far as why she wasn't required to come in and ask for a zoning permit to build that big barn or addition or hooking up anything there. This was all as far as putting in the cabins. I guess that's a moot issue because she's taking those out of there. But again, that's all, that was done without any permit or anything from the town.
Was it that she didn't think that she was annexed?
she said
And the city and the city
I
city
have-
council sat and watched her build them,
No. She petitioned for annexation,
right?
2013, it went through in 2014. And that was to clear up that she wanted the whole entire property that they bought annexed, not just the bar. 'Cause the bar had been annexed back in 2003, I believe, 2002. And so they agreed by resolution, that's been filed, and that then extended it to include the whole further portion that she owns there and put the house on there. But she didn't do an application, a zoning application, put the house on there. Okay? So what you have there are multiple uses. And that's where it got complicated. So you have a commercial in between it, the residential
In the city.
and the city. So that's a separate issue entirely, but I've researched it, it's properly annexed, all right? She can fight the annexation and say it's illegal, well then she's on her own entirely, okay? As far as metered, she's no longer if she's not annexed properly, she can fight, that's something, she doesn't wanna go there. If she wants to utilize city services.
My question was, do we need to do anything for her so she can get those
Well,
places sold?
What you want from her is, what are you asking for the town to do?
We asked her that 3 times while she
No.
was sitting there.
I know, but I said, put it in writing so you can go through it. I said, what's the town's responsibility? What is her responsibility? According to the ordinances, according to whatever agreements. Okay?
Right?
So we may have to wait, there's nothing we can do until we get the list from her.
And I told her that today when she came in and said.
You did?
Yes, she came in and then she asked if she, and I said,
Then it's gonna be between her and whoever the buyer is, that there's these unresolved issues.
If it's on her property.
yeah.
Right.
But she said
Well, I
that she would
understand
get
that.
she would get a letter to us by next meeting. And she was okay with whatever she worked out between the prospective buyer and herself for the water bill. She said, we'll work something out that way, but she will come in and.
Okay.
and,
Okay. We've already then dealt with the audit contract.
And then I have not been able to talk to Shirley Smith regarding the little piece of property with the cabin on it. John has been very ill and she has dementia. So my next step is to get a hold of her daughter Val and see if I can go that away until,
That's a good idea.
and stuff like that because he's been with pneumonia for a
At
while.
this point, it might not be anything Shirley can sign anyway.
Yeah, but it's in, and surely, the mayor did pay out of her own pocket the $50 for the year until we can resolve, the issue. So Shirley doesn't lose the lease and the town doesn't lose the
Landmark.
the landmark, yes.
Is there anything else as far as that leads in? Okay, Jean Root, follow-up?
I'm just curious how far we've gotten with her with the follow-up as far as Cotter's, getting the film for that. If anybody's talked to Jeannie or, Jean or has talked.
Bill and I were down there and talked to her. When was that, Bill? 30 days ago?
We can see where it's low. It doesn't go across and drop to the city. It goes straight across. It's just that the road drops right through there 3 feet.
Right. And there could be a little spot in that plumbing.
And we need to dig it
And
up
you say
across the
there is.
road,
Yeah.
raise that low spot, then build the
And then
road
build
up
the road
around
up.
that corner.
That's the answer to it. I mean, if
the
driving
road
over
just
it
drops
drives
like
the
this,
frost
and it's back down.
3 feet,
So
then
it's
get
right
3
above
feet of
the
gravel
sewer.
over the goddamn
If
thing.
you have a little low spot where